Welcome to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about the 2019-2020 snow plowing season, how I succeeded, but also how I failed this year in snow plowing. So I want to go back to the beginning. By the way, it's a 60-degree day today, so I think it's safe to say that the snow season is over. You never know what's going to happen. Maybe we'll get 6 inches in a week from now, but the way that it's looking now, it looks like it's pretty much over. I mean, the trees have buds on them already. It's almost 60 degrees. Looks like the grass is getting ready to start growing, and we're at March 5th or March 6th or something like that. We're real early March, and it's already a warm season. So maybe this global warming thing is a real thing, and we'll start seeing earlier and earlier springs, and up here in Michigan we'll start to feel more like a little bit down south. So definitely seems to be one of the earliest springs that I've ever had. So, but anyway, I want to talk about how I succeeded in snow this year, but also how I failed at snow this year. So going back to the start of the year, if you've been following the channel, you've been seeing the reports of the snow season. And right off the bat, when we started out, I had some issues. First big snowfall came early November, out of nowhere, big surprise. And the crew, I was running a little short on that storm. Not everybody could show up. People have kids and other obligations. They have other jobs. People that work for me a lot of times work other jobs as well. So we ended up getting big, heavy snowfall, and I was only able to get 2 guys to help me out that day. I had my little brother with me, and I had my other main guy. I've seen him on the channel before. He was helping, and that storm was brutal. We had to rush and get everything ready. We had no salt spreader. We had 2 new big lots that needed salting, and our big spreader wasn't in the truck yet. We had to use the walk behind spreader to salt everything. We had all bagged salt, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a tough day. Now, there was a point in that day where I thought that I wasn't gonna make it. It was so brutal. The snow was heavy, the ground was warm, everything was melting. We had a lot of houses. Once that big snowfall came, everybody was ready. People were on the fence. Do they want the snow service? They didn't. A lot of people weren't sure if they wanted it. But once that snowfall hit, that first big one hit for the year, everybody jumped on board and was ready for service. I mean, I made a big change this year with the residential snow service. I switched everybody to a prepaid model where you pay for the year and it covers you for the entire winter. And a lot of people were on the fence about that. And once that big storm hit, that really got everybody on board. At the time, we had Old Green, our second truck that I really wanted to run this year, and it wasn't ready. The storm came out of nowhere. The truck didn't have tires. I didn't go through anything on it yet, and there was no way that I could run it. Plus, my licensed driver, I didn't have a licensed driver. I had a guy with me helping that didn't have a license. So that didn't work out. So we had to do everything with one truck that first big storm. And it was tough. It was a night storm. Went out at night. All the snow was so heavy. We had our snow blowers with us because we didn't have the salt spreader. So we put all our snow blowers in the back. We had our walk behind spreader in the back. And man, that was the storm that breaks guys. That snowfall was the kind of snowfall that breaks guys, because it was heavy, it was intimidating, give you anxiety just thinking about all the accounts, because we used to have even more residential accounts. So I think the help was thinking about the previous year where the residential accounts they went on and on and on. Switching over to the prepaid model, we dropped a few, and honestly I was thinking we'd drop even more because they're hard to do. I was thinking switching to the prepaid model would just cause I thought it would be a total total loss with the residential side, but it really wasn't. A lot of people stayed, so it worked out. But yeah, that was a storm to break, guys, and guys broke that day. I it came to the point, toward we started, I think, at around 7, and about 7 a.m., about 12 hours in, guys were starting to break down. And 12 hours is a lot to be doing this kind of work, but I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't that hard of a storm, because most of it was sitting in the truck, 30 minutes at a time between houses. The plow did most of the work. It's not like you were grinding it out for 12 hours straight. No, most of it sitting. And I knew it was trouble when we came to the house to get more salt. We needed, like I said, we was using all bag salt, and we needed like 500-600 pounds of salt. And we pulled up, and I looked around at the crew, and they were all burnt out, sleeping, tired, pretty much showing signs of just total exhaustion and total fatigue. And I just got out the truck, and I hauled off 500 pounds of salt all the way out of the garage. Cars were in the way, so I had to haul all the salt from the garage all the way to the front where the truck was out on the street. And my wife was looking out the window. She's like, "Why are you doing all that by yourself? How come nobody is helping you carry all that salt? I mean, you just hauled all that out by yourself, and you got guys on payroll making, $16 an hour. How is it that you're doing everything by yourself?" And it's like, the reality is those guys were just burnt out. They couldn't do anything more. So we get to the property. I plow for an hour. They're sitting, keep in mind, they're sitting in a truck for over an hour and a half while I loaded everything, plowed everything, did everything. And we get out, and I have the guy helping me just salt the lot. He spreads the salt in the walk behind spreader across the lot. The lot's not that big, but he spreads the salt across the lot. Spreads about 150 pounds. He goes, "Man, I can't go on. I can't do it no more. I can't do this no more. I'm done." And I'm thinking, like, "Man, you're done?" Like, so I grabbed the spreader, spread like another 200 pounds or 150 pounds, and then we get in the truck, and he's like, "I'm done. I have to go." And it's like, man, like, I know it was a hard day, but this is the same guy we had to have a talk earlier in the night about. He was too tired to shovel the snow. Second or third house in, the snow's too heavy, and it's like that kind of attitude gets into your crew and ruins the whole crew. So I think about this stuff and think about, this is where I really failed as a business owner, not paying attention, not seeing the signs that this was coming from this person in general. Just being that weak and putting that out there and putting that into your crew really contaminates the whole crew. Yes, the route was hard. Yes, it was a lot of work for just 3, but you knew what we were getting into. We've been doing this for years, and at the end of the day, it's my fault for not seeing it before, for not having more help on hand. And what ended up happening is, as the year progressed, as the season progressed, the snow season progressed, that guy didn't show up no more. And it goes to show, like, who's really got your back. Now, this is my fault because I didn't have enough people on deck. I didn't have enough stronger willed people on deck and ready to work. And I ended up being no-showed for the next few storms. Like, nobody showed up. And I ended up calling people off Facebook. Had a lot of people who applied for the job before, over the last year. And I ended up getting, I just went out and messaged everybody on that whole list. And I got, somebody to come in. So it did, at the end of the day, it did work out for the rest of the year. I built up a little bit better of a crew. They weren't perfect. I mean, we still missed some things or whatnot, but I'm just happy that I made it through the year. So, I had some successes, I had some failures, and you know, hopefully moving forward, you can just correct all of these things, keep going, you know. Uh, it is what it is. I made it. I'm happy that I made it. And we're going to just move forward. But yeah, you know, it's just picking the right people. I didn't pick the right people. And I just got to recognize that and address it. Where I did succeed, switching over to prepaid for the residentials was a huge success. I mean, did it make me rich? No. Did it put a lot of money in the bank? No. All it pretty much did is secured maintenance on the business in the periods where it didn't snow. It was a slow year. I mean, we got some snowfalls, but we spent a lot of time idling and not doing anything, and that stuff cost. You know, the years before, I was really struggling, you know, waiting for the snow. There's no money here to pay. And, you know, just doing that prepaid, I think we billed something like $17,000 and another $2,500 for prepaid commercial work. And it really helped out a lot doing that. Does it mean I have all that money left over? No. I mean, we made our payments. I was able to get a little bit out of debt, some areas where I was carrying a little more debt than I should have been, just because every snow season before this, I mean, you're talking new truck, new plow, and it's just not snowing. And doing this was a huge deal. You know, I didn't do it with every account. I did it with only the residentials, and then the commercials still left me with more revenue coming in than what was going out in labor. So I still made another chunk of money every time it snowed. So at the end of the day, I think I set it up good because I still wanted snow. I don't think you want to set it up to where you make maybe 30 grand up front, and then every time it snows, you're like not making any money. I think you want to keep the money flowing, coming in when it snows for you, versus just not having any money come in when it snows. So there's successes and there's failures, but at the end of the day, it's all about recognizing the failures and taking responsibility. I'm not mad at nobody about what happened, about being no-showed or anything like that. You know, it's all on me at the end of the day. I'm not gonna be upset with, you know, the guy, you know, who had to babysit his kids, or at the end of the day just didn't have it in him no more to continue doing this type of work. You know, maybe it's just not in the cards for him anymore. But, you know, it's on me. And being that I put it on me, a lot of people would look at it and say that it's not my fault. Someone did it. He did this to me, or she did this to me, or whatever. Taking the responsibility myself means that I have the power to correct the issue. If I blame other people, then I don't have no power to correct no issues. Now, taking the responsibility, I know now how to have more people on hand, more manpower. What does it take? What it took for me to get out there and keep everything running and get through these accounts was going out there and raising some of the wages for entry level. I paid $15 an hour cash. I don't like to pay cash. I don't usually pay cash, but what are you going to do when you need help and ain't nobody there to help? You know, cash paid today is what I did. That's what it took for me to get out of the slump. I said, cash in hand at the end of the storm, I pay you. Let's go here. Let's get it done. And that is what brought people in to pretty much make it through. Imagine the anxiety. It took 14 hours with 3 people. What would it take for one person? I would be doing snow for like 48 hours straight. It would never. It's probably too much for one person to get done ever. So I did feel that anxiety when nobody wanted to show up. Nobody answered the phone. And I'm glad that it happened because I figured out a way to get out of it and we put it in the past. So these things happen. You got to be ready for it. This is business. You know, you got to be prepared. And, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, that's it for the video. Comment below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Share, and hope to hear from you soon. Bye.